إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء.
الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا فمن يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. فقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم والفرقان المجيد: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وفوق كل ذي علم عليم. صدق الله العظيم. A couple weeks ago, when I was here with you, we talked about one aspect of this ayah. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. This ayah comes from Surah Yusuf. Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, above every person who is knowledgeable, there is somebody who is more knowledgeable. That's what that ayah means. And we see lots of examples of that in our daily life. Nobody knows everything. There are certain areas of life that you master in, and even after you master, you don't know all aspects of it. So one of the dimensions of learning that we looked at is finding talent in another individual is also a branch of knowledge. That you're able to look at somebody's work, or you're able to judge and assess somebody through verbal communication, written communication, through a portfolio, in an HR department or other capacities, and you're able to figure out this person will work for my organization or this person will not going to work for my organization. So we looked at that particular aspect from the example of Yusuf alayhi salam as he went through the different stages in life and what happened to him as he excelled in his skills. And that skills helped him in the life to come. So there are a few ayahs that I would like to recite to you again as a reminder that we looked at last week. And then we're going to build on our today's khutbah, which is about once you are an employee, then employee and employer's relationship in the Quran. So the ayahs that we looked at last week was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, the Yusuf's brother did not understood his skill set, so they tried to get rid of him. And he was sent out as a slave, but he was purchased by a man who, just by looking at Joseph, he figured out this is not an ordinary slave. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ مَكَّنَّا لِيُوسُفَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. This is how exactly we gave Yusuf a place on this planet Earth where he could excel from. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we taught him. وَلِنُعَلِّمَهُ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. We taught him. So learning is extremely important. Even though you have a skill, but you have to improve it over the period of time. وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا. And when he grew up to the level of maturity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we gave him not just the knowledge, but we also gave him the wisdom so that he could utilize that knowledge. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then towards that story, towards the end says that when Joseph came out clean as a skilled worker, scandalous, then the king said, bring to him, and what are you going to do to him? أَسْتَخْلِصْهُ نَفْسِي. I'm going to just bring him as my close advisor, and I will going to just keep him just for me. And Yusuf alayhi salam, when he was given a job proposal, then what would you like to do? He basically said, make me the minister of the affairs of the land, because exactly that's the problem that I solved for you. And then he presented his case and saying, Inni hafidhun alim. I am not just the trustworthy person, but I'm also a knowledgeable person. So I have both of those areas that you're looking for in any of the skilled workers. So he presented his case like that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closes out this particular section of the story saying, نُصِيبُ بِرَحْمَتِنَا مَن نَشَاءُ. And it is to us that whoever we wish to bless, we bless. So today we're going to be looking at another story. It is Surah An-Naml. The Naml in Arabic means ant. There's a story of the ant in this surah So it's being named after that. However, our focus here is somebody who is in the capacity of employer like Suleiman AS. He's the king, and all his subjects are his employees. So the kind of relationship he maintains with his employees, so as I said earlier, that when you recite these ayahs, you look at the translation, a lot of the complexities that we miss. Because our knowledge is limited to the knowledge of what? The person who translated it for us. And there are certain words which have more than one angles to look at. So that is why over the period of time, we zoom into those entities. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ عِلْمًا. One of the main things the ruler or the employer must have is knowledge. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, to both of these people who were in the capacity of king, what did we do? We gave them knowledge. That's the starting point. If you're knowledgeable, you can make wise decisions, provided you have a wisdom. وَقَالَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. And this is the capacity of an employer. A lot of the time, people, when they get success, they get arrogant, they get proud. They think they're self-made. They think they do not owe any thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to the other people who help them excel and get to where they are in their life. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even though we make them kings, even though we made them prophets, even though we gave Dawood book, even though we gave Suleiman the kingdom that no one has ever seen, but what was their attitude? وَقَالَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of these things. Why? Because فَضَّلْنَا عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّنْ عِبَادِهِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Because He blessed us among those of His followers who are at the status of mu'mineen. Among the believers, among the mu'mineen, which is a higher degree of believers, He chose to bless our family. So we thank Him for that. And then Suleiman alayhi salam said a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that make me a king that the world has never seen and shall never see. And one of the reasons is that if you look at apparently the dua was very much worldly. But the dua was not all worldly. Because what is the job of the prophet? To serve the word of God. So he wanted some help in spreading the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in order to spread that world, he needed a kingdom that nobody had ever had so that he could serve his Lord better. On top of that, he did not want this to carry over to any other king because it's quite possible other kings may not be at the same status of nafs. They may not be prophets. They may not be messengers. And this so much power may corrupt them. And we see it all the time. You know, father is a very pious guy. The kingdom passes over to a son. And then he gets all boosted about his power. And he corrupts the entire empire. So we've seen these examples. They're not new to us. Same happens in the big corporate cultures. You know, sons could not hold the big organizations put together by the father. So this process continues. So he said, make me that kind of a king. And then he talked to the people, he spoke to the people and said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, u'allimna mantiq at-tayr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught me the language of the birds. Now, over here in this part of Wisconsin, you probably see a lot of birds. Certain birds stay all year round. Certain birds have started to arrive. Now you notice that they all speak different languages. They can't communicate to each other in the same language. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaching Suleiman alayhi salam, mantiq at-tayr means gave him the knowledge of the languages of different birds. And Hafiz ibn Kathir writes in his tafsir that this knowledge was not limited to birds alone. It was also incorporating the animals and the insects. And we see the example of that in Surah An-Naml, where the naml is not a bird, but when it speaks, can you hear a naml, an ant, speak? It does speaks, but the decibel rate at which it speaks is not hearable by the human ears. But Suleiman heard it. Suleiman heard the ant speak. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught him the languages of those that you and I can communicate with effectively. So he is talking to people and saying, منطق الطير وأوتينا من كل شيء. Anything and everything that a king wants, I have it. But at the end of the day, my subjects, إن هذا لهو الفضل المبين. This is only by the fadl, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't take any boost in any of this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me this. So Suleiman alayhi salam was kind of a king that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحُشِرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I gathered for Suleiman what? The reason I'm giving you all of this description, so that you understand that if Suleiman alayhi salam's kingdom is a corporation, this corporation had different kinds of employees. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحُشِرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ جُنُودَهُ. For him there were subjects. What kind of subjects? مِنَ الْجِنِّ. From the jinn. وَالْإِنسِ. From the humans. وَالطَّيْرِ. From the birds. Now, humans are very, very complex species. If you live in a household with multiple individuals, you will notice that adults, and even in adults, if you go in one gender or the other, there are a lot of complexities. Now, complexities of humans aside, we are talking about jinns, and we're talking about animals. So that adds a lot of complexity to this equation. So it was not an easy job to do. So Suleiman alayhi salam had a very, very different scenario. So Suleiman alayhi salam one day decides to go with his force. And that was his duty, or that was something that he put upon himself, that he would take care of his people. So he would make sure that everybody who left with him is still with him. And that is something Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also did all his life. He would have this watchful eyes for his companions, that who is missing and who's there. Because they would come 5 times a day. He knew the regular people who would come 5 times. So he will ask, where's so-and-so? They'll say, oh, the so-and-so is sick. So then during the day, at a time of convenience, he would go and visit this person. And we say dua for him. And make other arrangements for him if possible. And if a person has died, he would probably go to his grave and say the Fatiha. So all of these little things are part of an employer to take care of employees. Now the American corporate culture is very different. So we have a designated place called human resources. The job of human resources is to take care of the employee's needs. So that's exactly where you go if you have any employment-related questions. But back then, these were not institutionalized. So they were taking care of a lot of these things on personal basis. So Suleiman alayhi salam started making a count of the birds. وَتَفَقَّدَ الطَّيْرِ. And then he noticed that one of the birds was missing. And notice that Suleiman alayhi salam did not say right away, where is that bird? That bird was named Hudhud. It's a hoopoe bird, and that's what we call it in English. He did not say, where is that bird? He said, Malia. Oh my God, my bird is missing. This is the approach of a true believer, that when a blessing is taken away from him, he wonders, what did I do that my Lord has taken this blessing away from me? That's a mindset. Amalia, I could not. And then at the same time, there's another angle to Amalia. Oh my God, how could I be so irresponsible that I didn't know where my subjects were? Amalia. La ara al-hudhud. Those of you who know the Arabic language, the word al is an article, which means the. So he's talking about one specific hudhud. He may have more than one hudhuds, but he knew them so specifically that he knew that one of them was missing. Malia la ara al-hudhud. Is it that I don't see him? Or am kana min al-ghaibin? Or is he really missing? It's quite possible somebody is not there, or it's possible that somebody is there and you might have missed him. So now he's trying to figure out, what exactly is this problem? And this is the place where Suleiman alayhi salam then looks around and figures out that he is missing. Nobody knows about it. Now think about it from today's perspective. If you don't show up for school, and you don't notify anybody, if you don't go to work, do not notify anybody. Now let's make the situation very, very dire. Packers are playing and the quarterback is missing. Nobody knows where he went. That is a dire situation. So what is the job of the hudhud? The job of the hudhud is to go and test the grounds. Hudhud has this capability that if he tests the ground, he can tell you how deep the water is. So Suleiman a.s. when stopped, needed this guy for a job. When you need somebody for the job, and the person who needs to do the job is missing, that is worrisome. Is the quarterback missing in the Super Bowl? Big deal. So now, he's wondering where he is. So of course, he's the king, he is the employer. And he said, okay, if he is not here without any reason, then that should be punished. Or he should come back with a very valid reason. وَلَيَأْتِيَنَّ بِسُلْطَانٍ مُبِينٍ. It has to be a very clear reason that why is he missing from here. So he makes that kind of a statement because that's exactly what happens at workplace too. If you are not there for some time, then of course there is no reason to, then you know what consequences you bear. If you are missing out from a school, then there is a consequences that you bear if nobody notifies the school system why you're not there. So all of these situations have to be kept in mind when we look at this situation. So, after a little while, فَمَكَثَ غَيْرَ بَعِيدٍ. After a little while, Hudhud came. And he came with a message for Suleiman alayhi salam. So this basically tells us that Suleiman alayhi salam, despite the fact he was not very happy with the absence of Hudhud, he still gave Hudhud a chance to explain himself. Not like us, the way we treat the people that we are over. Why didn't you do it? Didn't I ask you to do it? Now go in the corner. Okay, the guy needs to talk. So he said, okay, talk. Why were you not there? He said, فَقَالَ أَحَطُّ بِمَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ. I have the knowledge you don't have. And you know what it is? وَجِئْتُكَ مِنْ سَبَإٍ. I have come to you from the land of Yemen. And I've seen a kingdom over there. And this is a very, very strange kind of a kingdom. In this kingdom, the rule of the queen supersedes. There is no king. And it's a strange kind of a land that they're blessed with all the blessings that a king can wish for, yet they worship the sun and not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am baffled. I just could not comprehend. How can one do that the one who gives him all the blessings leaves him and goes after a son who is created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now think about it. Isn't those the set of questions Ibrahim alayhi salam posed in front of his people way before Suleiman alayhi salam? That when he went with these people who were believing in stars, he said, okay, let's see, maybe the moon shows up, it's larger than star. So maybe he is the God. But when the morning came, he said, oh my God, where's my God? The God vanished. So if I now need him during the daytime, should I wait till night for the God to show up? And then the sun came, he said, oh, he's bigger. Hada akbar. This is bigger. So maybe he is the God. And when at the night time it set, he said, you know what? I don't believe in any of these false gods. This was a message to the people that when your God is there 24/7 for you, why do you fall off for these false gods who are sometimes there and sometimes not there? So exactly the same idea. Somebody in the capacity of a bird, in this regard, shows more intelligence than a human being, that the bird can comprehend that, oh my God, how can this person be worshipping a sun when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to be worshipped? He said, I'm very, very baffled that these people are very strange kind of people. So now Suleiman a.s., after listening to his case, said, we need to see if you're really telling the truth. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you a job to do. What will be your job? I'm going to write a letter. You will deliver this letter to this queen. And this is where Suleiman a.s. not only assigned him the job, but also teaches him the etiquettes of presenting the letter in the court of a queen. This is the responsibility of the boss, or an employer, or a supervisor, to tell the people when they don't know how to do certain things, advise them, at least direct them in the right direction. So he said, you know what? You take this letter, and you drop it off at a place where it could reach the queen, and do not sit there pressurizing them. Go somewhere far. Give them chance to read the letter and respond back. But don't leave the site. Stay there observant so that you can come back with the news. What did they do with my letter? So he taught them. He taught him all these little etiquettes of how to go in front of the queen, present the letter, and do not sit there forever. And then he delivered what he had to deliver. And then the queen went through certain processes. And long story short, Suleiman alayhi salam came to know that the queen wants to come and visit Suleiman alayhi salam. And then the Hudhud, when he visited the queen, he came about with one extra set of information, which I didn't tell you earlier on. And the information was that the queen actually has a huge throne on which she sits. And it is so beautiful that the Hudhud had never seen a like of that in his life. He said, it's huge, it's beautiful. It has ornaments all over it. It's made out of beautiful, beautiful material. It's amazing. So Suleiman a.s. when came to know about this, that the queen is on her way closer to Suleiman a.s., now he called upon his subjects who were closer to him and presented with another task. He said, you know what, I want to surprise this queen. I want her throne, which is where? In Yemen. Where Suleiman a.s. is sitting? Somewhere up north, Syrian region, Palestine, Jordan. Now that is hours away. Even if you drive by car today, if you drive continuously, it's going to take you more than a day, or maybe a day and a half, if you drive at 70 miles per hour to get there. So that's how far the Yemen is from the region. So now Suleiman a.s. is asking his people that she's close by, but I want you to get her throne to me before she gets here. That was a big task. So now even in the corporate culture that we notice, there are tasks that come about, and they're presented to a team of directors, vice presidents, and said, okay, who of you have the talent who can do this job? I'll say, I've got somebody who is extremely brilliant. I think he can do it. Or if they don't have it, they probably will going to go out and search for the talent. So Suleiman a.s. is presenting a case here. وَقَالَ الْإِفْرِيتُ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. And there was a jinn. His name was Ifrit. And he said, you know what, give me the task. Since you're here in your court, he used to run his court from the morning till the afternoon, and then the court used to get adjourned. He said, I will going to bring it to you قَبْلَ أَن تَقُومَ مِن مُقَامِكَ. Before you stand up and leave from the court. I'm going to bring it to you. Why? Now remember when Yusuf a.s. presented his case, he said, إِنِّي حَفِيظٌ عَلِيمٌ. I'm responsible and I am knowledgeable. The jinn does the same thing, says, وَإِنِّي عَلَيْهِ لَقَوِيٌّ أَمِينٌ. On this subject, you will going to find me not only strong, but I will going to bring it to you exactly the way it is over there. Nothing will be broken from it. I'm trustworthy. But Suleiman a.s. didn't seem to be convinced with the idea of the time frame that Ifrit brought him. Very similar when you sit and you brainstorm, there are ideas that come to you, and you probably are not convinced in every idea that comes your way. So he said, I'm looking for something more. And there was another man. His name in the books of tafsir comes out as Asif. And in the books of tafsir, he was basically a scriber for Suleiman alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave this human being a knowledge that even the mightiest jinns did not have. And he said to Suleiman alayhi salam, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces him in the following words, وَقَالَ الَّذِي عِنْدَهُ عِلْمٌ مِّنَ الْكِتَابِ. He was a man who has the knowledge from the book. أَنَا آتِيتُكَ. I will going to bring it to you. And my time frame is بِهِ قَبْلَ أَن يَرْتَدَّ إِلَيْكَ طَرْفُكَ. Means you are currently seeing, right? However far your vision goes, it reflects. And then you can see the objects. And then you blink. Before this whole process is over, it will be here. Oh my God, what a humongous difference of time frame. And that's exactly what happened. And it was right there in front of Suleiman alayhi salam. And if Suleiman alayhi salam would not have been a prophet and somebody regular like the kings of our times, they would have said, oh my God, see what kind of subjects I have, what might of a king I have. But then Suleiman alayhi salam said, listen, O people, this is all because of the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon us. None of us has the power to do what we are doing if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not wish us so. This is the attitude if we possess in our daily life, because all the skills that we have, we are all skillful in our own ways. We're all knowledgeable in our own ways. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. But there is somebody more knowledgeable than us. And there may be somebody more knowledgeable than them. So this idea has to be kept at the back of the person's mind so the person never gets boastful. So Suleiman alayhi salam teaches us that first of all, it doesn't matter where you are, be humble, be polite, be nice, give other people a chance to speak, listen to them, trust them. When you give somebody a task and you think that they're not 100% there, teach them. Put them in the right direction. So those are some of the things that we have extracted in the limited time that we have. If you have a chance, you can certainly go back and read the books of tafsir and the translation, or if you know the Arabic language, you can read the surah. If you understand the Surah An-Naml, أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
وفوق كل ذي علم